This is some recorded help for lesson 10-7. I'm going to do the first 4 assignments out of the lesson. Number 1, this is on page 610 then. Number 1, they have 2 circle segments crossing 2 chords. And the rule that you need to remember when doing these segments crossing inside a circle is that piece times piece equals piece times piece. So in this case, 9 times x has to equal 3 times 6. So if 9x equals 18, of course, x is 2. Not too bad. Remember the rule? Piece times piece equals piece times piece. The other part of the lesson deals with segments that extend outside the circle. For that, the rule is outside piece times whole thing must equal outside piece times whole thing. On this case, number 2, the outside piece is x, and the whole thing, the whole secant there, would be x plus 10. So outside piece times whole thing would look like that. And outside piece times whole thing here would be 3 times, not 5, that's just the inside piece. It would be 3 times 8. The whole thing, of course, is 8. We'll distribute here. Now, since you have both x squareds and x's, you should try to get everything on one side of the equal sign. Take 24 off both sides, it'll look like this. And this is where you try to factor it, if you can. So here we are looking for 2 numbers that times each other give negative 24, but they add up to 10. There's several possibilities to think about. You have your 8 and 3, 6 and 4, 12 and 2. Only 12 and 2 can work, because 12 and 2, if you make one of them negative, you could get your negative 24, and then that could add up to plus 10 if you make the 12 the plus and the 2 the negative. Now, if you FOIL that out, you should see that that indeed gives you that. And if these parentheses product is 0, that could only happen if x is 2, making the second parenthesis 0. Or it could also happen if x is negative 12, making the first parenthesis 0. Looking at our sketch, since x is an actual distance on our sketch, negative makes no sense, so we're throwing out that solution, and the answer is 2. So we jumped from an easy one to quite a bit harder one there. Let's take a look at number 3. Again, this has parts outside, so you must use the rule outside piece times whole thing equals outside piece times whole thing. That would be 20 for an outside piece times a whole thing here of 20 plus x. That must equal an outside piece of 31 times the whole thing, 31. Yeah, the outside piece is the whole thing. So you really just get 31 squared there. So we're going to get 400 plus 20x equals 31 squared. 31 times 31. Looks like that's maybe 341. $941. Like to get them right second time at least. Alright, so 20x equals 441. If you take 400 off, 541. You take 400 off both sides. So I think x is going to equal to 541 divided by 20. That should be maybe about 28. Nine 61, 561. Yeah, 28 and a teeny bit more. All right, you should use a calculator for those. I didn't. Then number 4 is kind of a strange problem. They say find the ratio of the arc width to the radius of the circle that contains the arc. Well, the arch. The circle that would just contain the arch would look something like this. It would have a radius of half of 7 or 3.5. So if you want the radius of, the ratio of the arch width, 7, to the radius of the circle that just contains the arc, 3.5, that would reduce to 2. So there's a few samples that should help you get started on the lesson today.